the meaning of the change of subject in mathematics is that if you have something like this, let's say y is equal to x plus 1 everything divided by a square, right? So something like this, and then we want to make this x the subject. What it means is that now assuming you people are in the bus, right? So maybe a bus takes you, this is a very beautiful bus, okay, maybe something like this, and this bus conveying you to your destination, right? So your school, and then you came with a driver. So there's a driver here, right? So there's a driver which can be your dad, right? Is that okay? So let's say this driver here is your dad. Your dad is the one taking you to your destination. Maybe one or two reasons he couldn't bring you back, right? So he has to drive you back after college or after school. So maybe he called you to come and take in control, in charge. So you are going to be the driver that will take your friends back to home, right? So you are taking your friend back to, so this is the school year. So your dad takes you to school, and then this should be your home. Is that okay? So who brought the bus home? You are the one who drove this car back home. Does it make sense? The meaning that we are changing the subject. We want you to take over, right? So we are changing the head of what, or maybe the chief driver. The chief driver was what, your dad here, who take you to school, and then on the way back home, you are the one who was what, in charge, right? So we are changing the subject. We are making you the driver to drive your friend to the house. So that is the idea here. Now, beginning based on the mathematical symbol here or equation here, what are we are going to do here is that, so assuming this is your dad, right? So this is your dad here. Now we want you to be in charge and then convey your people back home. So your dad is the chief driver in this case. Then we want you to switch you for you to be in charge when you people are coming back home. Does it make sense? Okay, so perfect. That was the whole idea of change of subjects. Now the trick and the things that you must use in solving this problem is the operations. So what I mean by the operations, that's the negative, positive, division sign, and then multiplication, and so on and so forth, right? So those are some of the things that you must know how to manipulate them to and fro. So what I mean by that, the vice versa of what subtraction, yes, that should be addition, and then with this one, that should be a multiplication and a division. Is that okay? So if you go by what, by addition, maybe what I mean by, if you go by addition, maybe if you are being added on one side of the equation here, the vice versa will be what, subtraction. So let's see how to do that using some simple question in mathematics. Starting with what, a very simple question or maybe equation that says that y is equal to x plus or plus 1, and then you want to make x here the subject. So we are going to make the x the subject. Now that we understand the concept here is that making this x, this is what we are giving. So we are giving y is equal to x plus 1. So meaning that we want this guy to be the driver in this case, right? So this guy has to be on this side. You cannot jump, right? So you can assume this is a wall. So you cannot jump the wall and come and stand here and say that you are the driver. So you must move step by step. Now, I see this thing to be a separation between everything that is before the equal sign and then another thing that is after the equal sign. So what I mean by that, these are the people inside one house here, and then this is also another people inside of another house. So the house before the wall here, so that this is just the separation, right? So you have one house here, so here's the wall dividing the two of you, right? So that is the wall in between the two. So this wall here is what we are calling the equal to sign, right? So equal to sign here in between the equation. So whoever is here must be the vice versa, right? So you have to move from here to this side, and this guy also has to go to the other side before you can determine exactly which people or that person that's going to be the chief driver here. Now in this house we have x plus 1, so here we have a y plus 1. We want this guy, the x here, to be what, the head, the chief driver, right? So you being the chief driver here, this guy has to move from where you are, right? So that is the key idea. This guy, the positive one here, has to move from what, from this point. So the idea here is that how can we move this guy here? So what did you come by? So you came to this house by what, addition. Is that okay? So you came here by addition. So reversing that statement, you are going to be a subtraction, right? So we are going to reverse that. So meaning that we are going to to subtract what in this case. So here is what we are giving. We are giving that to be what y. So meaning that the inverse of this one, that should be going to be a subtraction. So subtract 1 from this side, so minus 1, and then whatever you do here must be the same to so minus 1, right? So minus 1 minus 1, then we are going to have this guy to be, we are left with x here, and then here these two people they cancel out, right? So 1 minus 1, that is equal to 0. So what I see students, they always force themselves to bring this guy to the other side of the equation, but the meaning of the equal to sign here tells me that they are the same, right? So this is what I'm going to have. So if I want to rewrite this thing, I can rewrite this thing to be x is equal to y minus 1, right? So sometimes this is correct, this is also correct. So now the change of the subject, now that we change the driver, we are having the x to be our chief driver, what is equal to y minus 1, right? This is very simple. Once you understand the concept, this is very simple method here. You can easily tackle the more complicated case. Now let's see the next question. This is what we are giving, and then we are told to make what y the subjects of the relation, right? So this is what we are having. Now having this question here, don't be panic. Okay, don't be panic, just move step by step. Where are the y? So we have one y here, we have one y here, so there must be only one y, right? So of course a driver of a vehicle is just one person behind the steer, so that person is going to be what, just one person. So moving on to this point here, then we are going to have what, you should know how to tackle these issues, right? So this is similar to question like 1 on what x, that is equal to everything divided by, let's say, y on 2. So solving this thing, this guy here has to multiply whatever is the top here, and then this one also is going to multiply whatever is at the top here. That is the idea that we are going to use in solving this method here. So without further ado, let's start. So here we have this m here, multiply whatever I had done here. So you have m into bracket m what plus y here, that is equal to n into bracket the n what minus right? So minus y here, right? So that's our first step. Then now you have to expand this bracket here. So this guy multiplied by that is what, m squared, and this guy multiplied by that should be what, my here, right? So that's going to be n squared, and then this one multiply. Remember there's a negative here, so minus of ny. So what are we looking for? We are looking for y. I can see y here, I can see another y here, so I have to make sure that all the y's are in one part of the equation. So meaning that here we have my. So let's bring this minus ny to one side of the equation. You have that tends to be a positive. Remember what I said earlier on, because of the negative sign here. So you have n y, and that is going to be, we are left with what, n squared here, and then this guy has to move, right? So this guy has to move here. So we have here is a positive, so moving to the other side of, or going to the other house, we are going to have a negative, right? So minus n squared. Is that okay? So what are we going to do? What are we looking for? We are just looking for this y here. So we have y here, we have y here. So why don't we bring the y out here, right? So then we are left with m, and then plus n. Does it make sense? So we are just factoring here. That is the technical definition. So y out here. So we are left with m, and then plus n. That is going to be n squared, and then minus n. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, right? Comment down below if you have any issue relating to questions like this. Okay, now what are we here, this is the idea. If you have something that goes in x squared, that is equal to 3, and I'm looking for the values of the x, you divide everything by 2 and then divide it by 2, right? So this one consider we have the s to go 3 on 2. So that is the idea we are going to do here. So anybody that was attached to the y must vanish. So dividing here by what, m plus n here, and then we divide here by what, m plus n. So this guy can help us cancel this guy. So we have what, our y to be equal to what, n squared, and then minus m squared, everything divided by what, m plus n. Now you can see clearly that this is going to be our chief driver in this case, right? Okay, now here is the word, the simple. That is up to this point. The only thing you can do here is that these two people are what, are duplicating. So this guy here, we can rewrite this guy, the one at the top here, to be equal to what, n plus what, m, right? So and then you also have what, n minus m, right? Everything divided by what, m plus n, right? So this guy can be split. This is what we call difference of maybe 2 square. If you don't know this thing, don't worry, let's hear from you in the comment section below, right? So this one will cancel this, so therefore we have our y to be equal to So y to be equal to n minus or m everything divided by n plus or plus n, right?